Let's talk about Wilmington, North Carolina, shall we? I think we should.
3, 2, 1, lift off.
Welcome back to another episode of Port City Living. I am your host, Billy Corbett. I am a real estate agent and I am a native Wilmingtonian. Well, not really Wilmingtonian. I grew up in Burgaw, but close enough. So I say I'm from the Wilmington area. And this show is all about what it's like to live in this great part of North Carolina. And I have a few show notes that I want to share with you before I jump into the episode. If you've been following my career, you know that I have this podcast and I have a YouTube channel, both called Port City Living. They pretty much do the same thing, and I've decided to marry them together. So now I'm going to start videotaping my podcast sessions so that you can not only hear me, but you can hear me and see me. Yes, yay for you! Aren't you excited? So I'm really thrilled to be able to do that. And another big change that we've got is that if you've been following the podcast for the past 2 years, you'll know that I've been co-hosting with my really good friend, Brad Brown. But for some reason, this season, we're not able to get our schedules lined up and we just can't seem to nail each other down. And so we have decided to let me go solo. So unfortunately, Brad is not going to be with us anymore. We did record one episode, which is the first one of the third season that came out a couple of weeks ago. It's a really good episode. You should give it a listen. But unfortunately, you're just going to have to deal with me. So those are those notes. I'm thrilled to be able to bring this to you. I'm gonna try to make these episodes short and sweet and give you a little bit of information that I think might be useful for you. At least I hope it will. I'm also going to start the shows with some event information for you, just to kind of give you a tidbit of what's going on in the Wilmington area. And if you are from here and you want to do some of these things I talk about, or if you are planning on visiting for the weekend that I'm talking about, then put it in your mental filing cabinet or whatever it is you do. And something else too. I have notes here, and since I'm getting older, I'm going to read some of this stuff because I can't remember it all. So just know that if you're watching me, I'm probably going to read some of this. But the first, the event that I want to tell you about, mark your calendars for March 28th. It is Feast Wilmington here in Wilmington. This is an event that we do every year, and it really is a true event that really makes you feel like you're a Wilmingtonian and you're really part of the Cape Fear area. It's a great event. It's a food event. It happens down at Live Oak Park Bank Pavilion. Live Oak Park Bank Pavilion. That is such a mouthful. I wish they would change that name. But it's down there. It's at our pavilion right on the Cape Fear River. So it's going to be good food, local chefs, local restaurants. The atmosphere is going to be great because you're right there on the Cape Fear River. And it's going to be a fun time. And I think you should check it out. Mark your calendars, March 28th. I'm actually going to put the link for the tickets down in the show notes, so you can click on that. I think there's like various levels of tickets that you can buy from what I saw. Different levels of experience. So have at it. I've never actually done this event, I will say, disclosure, but I have a lot of friends that have done it, and they said it is incredible. So go check it out, have some fun, get some good food. Okay, now let's jump into this episode. So I want to talk to you about a group of people that live here in the Wilmington area, and they have a specific name. And this name is called Halfbacks. Have you heard of them? You're thinking, like, what in the world is a halfback? Okay, so if you're from this area, then you probably know what I'm talking about, and you're probably smiling right now, right? If you are living in Wilmington and you don't know what it is, there's a really good chance that you probably are a halfback. So let me just break it down for you. Here's the 411 on what a halfback is. Okay, so basically you've got people that live or are from like New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. That's where we hear a lot of people come from when they relocate. And they are sick and tired. They're fed up with the cost of living. They're fed up with house prices and what you get for the money. The taxes are outrageous, and the winters are, I hear just a nightmare. And so they're like, where can we go that's on the East Coast that might be the opposite of what we have? And so they think, oh, let's go to Florida. That sounds fun. And so they sell their property, pack their little truck up, and they go down to Florida. They get them a great place, and it's great. The sun is out, the palm trees are blowing in the breeze, and it's wonderful until they have a reality check, and they're like, it is really hot here. And it is very hot in Florida, especially if you've ever been to Key West. It's extremely hot down there. I went once and I thought I was going to die. And so, and they're like, the sun is shining, and it's not like a beach day shining. It's like the sun is literally trying to murder me shining. And, you know, let's not forget about the hurricanes, and they get hit from both sides of the state. And, you know, the political climate's not that great. And they got bugs, and they're like, we can't do this anymore. We've got to go. We've got to go. So they know they don't want to go back home because that's not good. They know they can't stay where they are because that's not good either. So where are they going to go? So they start looking at the map, and they kind of travel up, and they're like, oh, there's this little hump that sticks out. What's this? This is North Carolina. This might be fun. Now, remember, I told you this show is about Wilmington, North Carolina, right? This is where they land, Wilmington, North Carolina. Now, obviously, not everybody comes to Wilmington. I get that. But it does seem like that, especially to locals, people that are from here. They feel like we are inundated with people from up north. And that is true. That is true. And that's been especially true of the case since COVID. And it's been true of people coming from all other parts of the country. But it just seems more prevalent and happening more right now. But this is what I find to be very, very interesting. The whole concept of people moving here from up north is not a phenomenon. It's been happening for a very long time. So if you are in downtown Wilmington and you are touring around and you're looking at some of these historical homes, pay attention to the plaques on the outside of these houses. They're typically right by the front doors. These plaques have some really, really good information about like when the house was built, who built it, who owned it, different families that lived in it in different periods of time, maybe what these families did for a living here in the Wilmington area, maybe even some significant architectural changes that were made to the house. And you'll find that there was a lot of people from up north that moved here and built these houses or lived in some of these houses. So that's quite interesting. Now, granted, they probably weren't halfbacks. They probably didn't go to Florida and then come back then, because in the 1800s, or the late 1800s, Wilmington was the biggest city in North Carolina. It was a bustling port town. And so there was a lot of people moving here from lots of different places. So I find it very, very, very interesting. And so, some of the things that I think people from other areas or halfbacks might assume when they come here is that, one, it's really cheap to live here. And I get that. It probably looks cheap housing-wise to some of them because housing up north is so expensive and you don't get much for it. So, you know, they come here and they find, you know, relatively nice homes for what they think is a relatively affordable price, and they think they're living in a mansion. However, there are those who are from this area that feel that squeeze because we have seen prices elevate quickly and for a lot of money over the years. And I've actually heard from a lot of locals that say, you know, I'm from here and I can't even afford to live in my own town. And that's really, really sad. But what do you do? The other thing I think they assume is that taxes are relatively low and very affordable here. And that would not be a myth. That is actually true. Our taxes here in this area are very low compared to many other places in this country. So we're fortunate in that way. Some locals might not think that. We did have a pretty good tax hike last year. A lot of people complained. I got a lot of calls. But I think overall, you know, for where we are and what we have here, our taxes are relatively low. And then the other big thing is people come here for our weather. And, you know, they're mostly right about that. We've got all 4 seasons. Some of them are longer than others. Our winters are not that bad. Winter comes, says hello. Sometimes it dumps some snow on us. Sometimes it doesn't. We got snow last year. We got snow this year. Our summers can get hot. They can get very sticky, very, very humid. Our springs are beautiful. Our springs in Wilmington are very beautiful. I mean, everything's budding. Everything's gorgeous. Especially our coveted azalea. As a matter of fact, I'm recording this on March 9th, and I was just out walking my dog a couple of days ago, and I noticed that some of the azaleas in my neighborhood are already blooming. And so that's awesome because we have our amazing Azalea Festival coming up here the 1st of April that Wilmington is known for, the North Carolina Azalea Festival, and it's coming up really soon, and everybody's geared up for that and getting ready, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. Now that I say that, if you've been listening to my podcast, if not, go back to season 1 and listen to one of the episodes that we did about the Azalea Festival. And Brad and I actually interviewed the president at that time of the festival. We talked about its history. We talked about some of the events that go on during it. It's really good. So go back and take a listen to that. I think you'll find that very interesting. But there's a few things about this area that I think, we'll say, halfbacks or people that are from other areas of the country maybe don't realize that we are a little bit different. Our culture is different down here. We are a little bit slower paced. The hospitality of the Southerns it is real. It's a thing, but it's a two-way street. And I think if a lot of people come here and they embrace it, then it's going to embrace you back. If you push against it, you're probably not going to land very well because Southerners don't like to change. And, sometimes I think a lot of locals feel that it's unfair when people from other areas of the country come in and try to force changes on other people. We could go on and on about that, but just embrace the Southernness, because I can honestly tell you, I have sold houses to a lot of people from other parts of the country, mainly up north. And they become Wilmington's biggest fans. They love it. They immerse themselves in it. They become Southern. They might not sound it, but they become Southern in many other ways. So they come here for the taxes and for the weather, and they fall in love with everything else that we have to offer, and it's absolutely amazing. And they're welcome. I mean, everybody's welcome. You know what, guys? That's the good thing about living in this country, is that we can up and move to different states that have different ideas and different climates and different cultures, and the way we say things and the way we refer to things. So that's the glory about living here. So we welcome everybody, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a real estate agent. It's really true. So the only thing I would say is maybe if you're going to move here, just be very mindful of how you drive, because the traffic here is insane. I mean, we just talked about it in episode 1. It's one of my rants that I have, and I rant about it all the time. There's a lot of people here. The traffic is really bad. And for the love of God, learn how to use a roundabout. Please, I beg you. And that's going to be its whole episode in itself, coming very, very soon. Just trust me. So, okay. That's what I have for you. That is my episode 1, or episode 2 rather, episode 1 by myself. It's about the Halfback story. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's educational. I hope you found it so. Please leave me some comments if you do. And if you're one of those, or becoming one of those, or maybe if you live here already and you need some pointers or some tips, then hit me up. That's what I'm here for. I'm a native of the area. I'd love to point you in the right direction to all of the fun places to eat, the holes in the walls, anything in between. That's exactly what I am here for. This place, Wilmington, and the surrounding area, it is not perfect. I will never say that it's perfect, but it is a great place to live, and it gets in your bones, and it gets in your blood, and you do love it. I have lived here my whole life, except for 2 times. I moved away to Charlotte once for a couple of years. I moved to Greensboro for a couple of years. Both incredible cities, much bigger than Wilmington, but Wilmington drew me back. And it's just a fantastic place to live, and I love talking about it. So I'm going to do my best to put out an episode every 2 weeks, and I'm really excited about this new format, and I really hope you find it educational. Please consider sharing it with your family and subscribing, and give me a thumbs up on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. And give me those comments. I'd love to hear from you. And go out there and find you some azaleas. Take your picture with them. Post them on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to do. I think it's totally worth it. You'll love it. Spring is coming, y'all. Spring is coming. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Billy. This is Port City Living, Wilmington Unfiltered, and take care of each other please go out there and take care of each other and make this world a better place. I beg of you. You can do it. I know you can. Until next time. Bye, everybody.